Do you want to wake up every day with your hair done, and the only time that you have to be bothered with interlocking is like every 6 to 10 weeks? I mean, it sounds like a pretty good trade-off to me. Hey y'all, welcome back to another video. Recently, I have gotten an influx of people asking me questions about interlocking. For some of y'all, the interlocking process is like the only thing that's stopping y'all from getting locked. So because of that, I wanted to make a really honest pros and cons list about interlocking, just so that y'all can see my opinion on it. Again, I feel like I have to reiterate this. I'm not a professional by any means, okay? I started my locks with 2-strand twists. I did not go to a loctician. The only thing that makes me different from you is the fact that I'm documenting my journey on the internet. So these are all just opinions. I just wanted to get that out of the way before I started. I have made a pros cons list on my phone, so I'm going to be reading them from my notes. This pros and cons list is specifically centered around the 4-point rotation because that's the rotation that I'm on. That's just a little something that I wanted to note before I started. Starting with the pros, the first one for me is the fact that my hair is always done. My favorite thing about my hair and interlocking and having locks period is the fact that my hair is always done. This is hair freedom. And the reason why I say that is because essentially I just wake up like this. My hair is always done. Do you want to wake up every day with your hair done, and the only time that you have to be bothered with interlocking is like every 6 to 10 weeks? I mean, it sounds like a pretty good trade-off to me. For me, it is completely worth it, the hair freedom that I have from a day-to-day basis in exchange for having one hard time a month. Another major pro for me is no more detangling sessions. Praise God. I don't know about y'all, but for me, the detangling sessions with my loose natural hair literally took all day. Hair washing literally took all day. I'm talking about waking up in the morning at around 8 a.m. detangling first, like finger detangling. I don't know about y'all, but that's what I used to do when I was a loose natural. I had to finger detangle first, which took like at least 30 minutes. Then I had to section my hair off, and then I had to go through with the comb, and then I had to wash and then do it all over again, style my hair. It was just a mess. So no more detangling sessions for me. This is how I detangle now. And I go like from my roots to my ends, and that's it. That's the detangling session. Not even a session, it just takes like 10 minutes. That is also another major pro for me. My third pro is the fact that it gives me a more compressed look. My hair is really thick, so the 4-point rotation for me kind of helps combat that because I don't want my volume to be out of control. But if you're the opposite of me and you don't mind volume, or if your hair is a little bit more thinner, then maybe go with the 3-point rotation, because the 3-point rotation is going to give you less of a condensed, compact look like the 4-point rotation does. But for me, the 4-point rotation and that condensed, compact look is really what I love. I am expecting my hair to get more compact than this because my hair is obviously not completely locked yet. I mean, it's like really fluffy. My 4th pro is no product buildup at all because we don't use products over here. I mean, we do, but we just use like oil and water. We don't use creams or anything like that. We don't use gels to maintain our locks. So that's another pro for me. You don't have to worry about buildup. Your scalp is fairly clean all the time, so that is a major pro for me. Another pro is that you have more time in between interlocking. So for example, like for me, there's no way that I can complete my head from front to back with interlocking in one little session. So what I have been doing lately is splitting it up. So I'll do half of my head one time and then the front half another time. As y'all can tell, the front half of my hair is not done right now, but the back is, and I'm about to start my front and I'm going to do the back next time. That's just the way that I like to manage it, because there's no way that I would be able to complete my head all at once unless I found a loctician, which I've been meaning to tell y'all. I think I have found a loctician, but I don't want to jinx it. I don't want to tell y'all too much, but what I am going to tell you is her rates are not ridiculous and out of this world. I've seen her work. I really like it a lot. So I think I may have found a loctician. If things go further, I will let y'all know. But for now, I'm really happy because I think I might have found a loctician, y'all. Okay, now I want to talk about the cons. One of them is, of course, the time that it takes to interlock. But like I said earlier in the video, I do think that the time that it takes to interlock and the everyday freedom that you get with your hair, I do think that it's an even trade-off. Every day I don't have to worry about my hair, I just have to worry about it that one time during the month. So I do think that it is an even trade-off, but for you it might not be. So that's why I added this as a con, because it does take some time. It's very time consuming, and if you don't want to do it yourself and you don't find a loctician that has good rates, it's expensive. Another con is that it could cause holes in your locks if you don't do it correctly. Like say you're doing a 4-point rotation, right, and you accidentally go through the same hole twice, or you go through the base of the lock really awkwardly, it could cause a hole, and if you don't take the time to fix it, then you're just gonna have a wholly damaged lock. So another con to a 4-point rotation, like I touched on a little bit earlier, is the fact that it's gonna make your hair really compressed. So if you're not looking for a compressed look, again, go with the 3-point rotation or even a 2-point rotation. I've seen people do that. Interlocking could also cause your locks to thin out if you don't keep up with your interlocking schedule. So I really recommend that you keep up with a schedule, either every 6 weeks, 8 weeks, 10 weeks, whatever works for you. Make sure you keep up with that. If you don't keep up with it, you're gonna have some inconsistencies within your lock. It'll be thicker in one spot and then thinner in the area that you didn't interlock on time with. If your lock does get too thin, it could snap. You might not be able to repair it. It just causes all types of issues. So be sure that you are following a schedule. With interlocking, you're essentially creating small little knots within your hair, so it is easy to do it too tight. I have had plenty of times where I have interlocked and then I thought, ooh, I can go one more rotation, and when I did that, it was really tight and super hard to undo. It took me like 30 to 45 minutes to get that knot undone. So just be careful with doing your hair too tight. And also, if someone else is doing your hair, make sure you let them know, because they may not know if they're doing it too tight. So those are all of my pros and cons to interlocking, specifically with the 4-point rotation, because that's the only thing that I really have experience in. Before I close out this video, I do want to share a book with you that I think will be really helpful. It's called Let's Talk Hair: Every Black Woman's Personal Consultation for Healthy Growing Hair by Pamela Farrell. This book has a lot of information that I think will be really helpful to you all. It even has a section where it explains the correlation between hair growth and the diet that we have. Towards the back of the book, it does have a section specifically about locks. It has tips on how to grow locks, the different stages of locks, styling and grooming and care overall for locks. It has a section for sister locks, micro locks, traditional locks, all of that towards the back of the book. I really recommend, again, I really recommend that y'all check this out. I'll have this book linked in my description box if you're interested. Again, it's called Let's Talk Hair by Pamela Farrell. Other than that, I hope that y'all enjoyed today's video. If you have any pros or cons or both to interlocking, leave them in the comments below so that we can all read them, interact with each other in the comments. I'll talk to y'all in my next video, and I'm out.
If you're doing what everyone else is doing, you're doing it wrong. One of the best to ever do it.